My name's Sarah Johnson. I'm 67 and still working. My late father was a business owner, so I grew up wanting for nothing. I'm really grateful to him. I've been married to my husband Mike for 33 years. Right after college, my dad suggested someone to me. At first, I wasn't thrilled about the idea. But Mike was kind and gentle, so I felt I'd found a wonderful man. I was grateful to my father for this too. Things moved quickly and we got hitched. We were blessed with 2 children, who now have their own families and are independent. It was lonely at first, but I was happy knowing it meant they'd grown up. With our children out of the nest, we thought we'd live quietly, just the 2 of us. When our daughters were grown, Mike retired from my dad's company where he'd worked for years. We planned to use his retirement money for a trip. We hadn't been abroad in ages, so that sounded nice. On Mike's last day of work, I went home early. I invited our daughters over and cooked a big meal to celebrate with the family. But he didn't come home at quitting time. An hour passed, still nothing. I tried calling, but no answer. The girls had to get back to their kids, so I sent them home with the food I'd made. I waited up, but he never showed. I finally gave up and went to bed. The next morning, he still wasn't home. Something was wrong. Maybe he'd been in an accident. Just as I was about to call the cops, Mike called.
What happened? Is everything okay? Shut up. Stop bugging me all the time. But if you're gone for a day, of course I'm gonna worry. I invited the girls over for a party, but you never showed, so I had to send them home. We're all worried sick. Where are you?
Somewhere you don't know about.
What?
I'm living my own life now. I'm gonna be free and live alone.
What are you talking about?
I rented my own place. That's where I'm staying.
I had no idea you'd rented a place on your own.
'Cause I didn't tell you.
Why would you do that?
Mike suddenly started laughing. I only married you to milk your dad's company. But then he goes and hands it over to some other guy instead of me. It's unbelievable. I spent all that time sucking up to your old man. That geezer's got no eye for talent.
What on earth are you saying?
You might have thought I loved you, but sorry to break it to you, there wasn't a single day I ever did.
What?
It was all just to buy time so I could become CEO of your dad's company and live easy. Don't tell me you actually thought I loved you?
But we have our daughters.
Oh yeah. We only had them because your dad was making a fuss about wanting grandchildren. And when I felt like doing the deed, I'd proposition you and it just happened to work out. I never wanted children in the first place.
That's awful.
What's awful is your dad. He ruined all my plans. At first I was shocked hearing Mike talk like this, but his attitude about my father was really getting on my nerves. Well, I guess I can't complain about a $400,000 severance package. My dream of being CEO didn't pan out, but I can live it up with that kind of dough. Now that I've got the money, I don't need you anymore. Let's get divorced.
I can't believe this.
What, you don't want a divorce? No, it's fine. Let's get divorced. Huh, didn't expect you to agree so easily. Are you sure about this? Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead with the divorce. Why are you agreeing so quickly? You're the one who brought it up, aren't you? Well, yeah. I can't imagine spending the rest of my life with someone as selfish as you. Divorce is fine by me. Is that right? Well, I'll be happy living free on my own from now on. But a pathetic old hag like you is gonna have a tough time alone. Your dad didn't even leave you the company, did he? Guess he didn't love his daughter much. Whatever. Send the divorce papers to me. I'll give you the address now, so listen up. He started rattling off an address. I wrote it down, it was a place I'd never heard of. After I hung up, I didn't want to just mail the divorce papers. It felt like admitting defeat. So I filled them out and decided to deliver them in person. But when I got there, I witnessed something shocking. I snapped a photo of what I saw, then mailed the papers from a post office near Mike's new place. A few days later, Mike let me know the divorce had gone through. After that, I told our daughters about the divorce and showed them the photo I'd taken. They were furious, and rightfully so. I wanted to keep living quietly, so I didn't confront Mike about it. Not yet, anyway. A few weeks later, Mike called again. "Hey, we're strangers now.
Let's settle the money stuff properly to avoid any trouble." "All right, I understand. You can have the house. What about our savings and your retirement money? We're supposed to split our assets, right?"
"Savings?
There aren't any. And I've already spent $400,000, so there's nothing left." "What? How could you spend $400,000 so quickly?"
"That's none of your business anymore, is it? I'm 68 now. You've got no right to lecture me."
"But any money you got before the divorce is our shared property. I'm giving you the house, isn't that enough? That house was bought by my father in the first place. You had nothing to do with it." "You're so annoying.
You've never wanted for anything since you were little, have you?
Someone like you has no business kicking up a fuss over money now."
"That's not the point.
Look, I'm giving you the house, so it's fine, right? By the way, do you have any savings of your own?"
To be honest, I did have savings. But since Mike clearly wasn't planning to share anything, I figured we should each keep our own assets. "Well, you're keeping your stuff to yourself, so I'll do the same with my finances."
"Fine by me. You probably don't have much anyway. So it's settled then. I keep the house and my own assets. You keep your retirement money and savings. That sound good? We should get this in writing, don't you think? I'll contact the lawyer my family's known since my father's time and have him draw up a document. I'll send you a copy."
"Yeah, all right.
That works for me."
"Great.
It's decided then."
We put our financial agreement in writing, and after that we didn't contact each other at all. But our daughters were still furious. "Mom, you should take action."
"Not yet, sweetie. When everything's in place."
The girls seemed to accept that, but they were disgusted with Mike. Apparently, he tried contacting them a few times after the divorce to ask about my situation, but they brushed him off and didn't tell him anything. A year and a half went by. I was quietly enjoying my life. Then one day, I got a call from the lawyer. All right. This was the moment I'd been waiting for. All the evidence of Mike's affair had finally come together. That photo I took back then was actually proof of his infidelity. But that alone wasn't enough, so I hired a private investigator to dig up more dirt. Boy, did they deliver, the evidence just kept piling up. I sent all those documents to his place. Then, out of the blue, I got a call from someone unexpected. "Hey sis, long time no talk. It's been a while. How've you been?" "I'm okay. But there's a bit of a problem." "What's up? How much do you know?" "About what?" "Don't play dumb." "About me and Mike." "Oh, I know everything." Why was my little sister calling me like this? Because Jennifer was Mike's mistress. There's a 22-year age gap between us. My dad remarried a few times and had children each time, so I've got a bunch of much younger siblings. Jennifer's the baby of the family. To be honest, I've only met her a handful of times. At my wedding, she was still in grade school, looking lost like she was at a stranger's ceremony. But with a 22-year gap, that's to be expected. When I went to deliver the divorce papers to Mike's place, I saw him and Jennifer walking arm in arm. But I wasn't 100% sure then, so I'd been gathering evidence. Watching that geriatric couple canoodling was pretty gross. Disgusting, really. Mike was desperate to hide the affair, so they probably thought they'd gotten away with it. As if that could ever work out. Lies always come to light eventually. Mike wanted to wrap up the divorce quickly and drama-free. That's why he gave me the house and didn't say anything about my assets. But why was my sister calling now? So why are you calling? Can't you let this one slide? You weren't against the divorce, were you?
Can't you think of it like I'm taking your unwanted husband off your hands and forget about this? Why are you the one calling about this? Where's Mike in all this? Let's talk about this as a family, without Mike. Let me guess whether Mike put you up to this or it was your idea. You figured if you appealed to me. Well, that ain't gonna work. You two had an affair, so you're gonna pay for this. Please! I'm begging you! Begging won't change a thing.
I hung up. A few hours later, Mike called.
Hey! Why are you talking now, a year and a half later?
Too bad for you.
A year and a half is nothing. What the heck? I'm not going to pay for anything. It's your legal obligation since I've got a lawyer involved. You're gonna pay up for last year too. $60,000 is ridiculous. You're the ridiculous one, fooling around with my baby sister. How do you know about that? When I went to drop off the divorce papers, I saw you two lovebirds walking arm in arm. I've been preparing for this ever since. What the hell?
Where'd you even meet her anyway?
Well,
Mike started spilling the beans about how he met Jennifer. I met her through work. You know we both worked at your dad's company, right?
And Jennifer worked at your grandfather's company? One time I had to go there on business. She came up to me saying, "Aren't you my sister's husband?" She said she wanted to hear about you and asked me out to dinner. She said there was such a big age gap that she'd never really talked to you, and she was too nervous to approach you directly, so she wanted to chat through me. We had dinner a few times and things just kinda happened. Jennifer kept telling me I was gonna be the next CEO, so we were living it up. Well, I didn't get to be CEO, but we've got enough saved up to live on. Oh really? $400,000? You think that's enough for two people to live a cushy retirement?
It's plenty.
Jennifer quit her job and now we're traveling and enjoying life. Why should I have to pay my ex-wife now? That's crazy. You've made your bed, now lie in it. If that's how it is, your sister's the one who came on to me. You went along with it, didn't you? And who knows which of you is telling the truth? You only lived with your sister for a few years, right? We were together for 33 years. You should trust me more. A cheater's not trustworthy no matter how long we were together. Let's talk further through the lawyer. I'm not paying a cent.
He hung up. But I didn't give up. Mike refused to pay, so I kept sending requests through my lawyer. Mike started calling over and over. It was getting annoying. When I ignored him, he showed up at my house. I was coming back from grocery shopping when I saw Mike and Jennifer standing there, shocked at how different the outside of the house looked. It must have changed a lot since Mike lived there. I ignored them and tried to go inside, but they started making a scene at the front door.
I'm not paying any.
They kept causing a ruckus, so I reluctantly let them in. As soon as they were inside, Mike exclaimed, "What happened to this place? Why's it so nice?"
I had it renovated after you left. Where'd you get that kind of money? That doesn't make sense. You shouldn't have any savings. Sorry to break it to you, but I've got plenty saved up. I inherited some property when my father passed away and I've been a landlord for a while. I was gonna tell you, but you were always out late and busy, so you never noticed. I hate to brag, but I inherited 5 pretty big properties. I quit my job and now I'm just managing the real estate. I bring in over $200,000 a month. What the? You mean? You make more than my severance pay in just 2 months?
That's right.
So when you tried to keep that $400,000 all to yourself in the divorce, it was chump change to me. That's messed up. But wait. If you've had those properties since we were married, I should get a cut. Don't I deserve a share? Sorry, but when we divorced, we agreed my assets were mine and yours were yours. So unfortunately, it's all mine. No way! I'm so glad we got that in writing. Otherwise, you two vultures would be trying to swoop in and take it all. You gotta be kidding me! Did you know this was gonna happen? Nope, I just wasn't interested in your assets. Hold on a sec, sis. What now? I'm Dad's child too, right? So shouldn't I get something? Yeah. Divide up the inheritance. Listen, didn't Dad set aside some land for you too? That tiny farm? I don't want that junk. Land is land, isn't it? And haven't you been mooching off Dad for years? What are you talking about? You think I don't know? Dad was always complaining, when's Jennifer gonna get her act together? 10 affairs at work. Dad helped you with money for you, didn't he? So this time you went after my husband? I bet you figured if you fooled around with family, you wouldn't have to pay up now that Dad's gone. Well, I'm the only woman out of our 6 siblings, so I was your only option. How could you? That's so mean. Dad always covered for me before. I can't help it if I'm only attracted to taken men. It's not like I was trying to steal them, it just happened to work out that way. Dad would smooth things over. What's the big deal? If you've got someone to bail you out, what's wrong with relying on them? He's fronted you $400,000 total? With that kind of money, you don't need any more. That's different. It's not fair that you got 5 properties and I got squatted. Well, maybe it depends on how much we've supported Dad. I'm the oldest daughter, and the oldest son got all the company rights. The second son got 3 properties, the third got 2, the fourth wanted to start a business so he got startup money. And you got that farm in the States. Sounds about right to me. That's not fair at all. You're the unfair one. Dad paid all, and you promised to pay him back but never did, right? Oh well, Mom's gonna kick the bucket soon anyway, right? She must have inherited a ton from Dad, so I'll just go after that next. Do you even realize how low you sound? Sorry to burst your bubble, but Mom knows all about this. No way she's gonna welcome you with open arms. Besides, she sold her place and blew all the money on a fancy nursing home. She sold off all her land too and donated the cash to charity. Said there's nothing left, she didn't want us fighting over money after she's gone. No way! What am I supposed to do? I'm never gonna be happy at this rate. Mike quit his job so we've got no income. His pension is a joke, we can't live on that. I quit my job and now they won't let me come back for some reason. Even though I'm family, they said no. Well, yeah. The oldest brother's running the company now. They let someone else be CEO for a while, but he's pretty much in charge. He knows what went down with me, and Dad warned him about you a bunch of times, so he's not gonna hire you. If you hadn't quit, they might have kept you on at least. Why'd you have to go and quit? This isn't fair. I'm the only one getting screwed over here. Why do you get to be happy? You stole my husband, remember? Maybe you went after Mike thinking he'd take over the company, but did you really think a guy with no real accomplishments who just stuck around forever could pull that off? Mike's dad was an exec at our company, so Dad thought Mike had potential, but he was useless. Always using connections instead of working hard, blaming others for his screw-ups. No way a guy like that was gonna make it big. Anyway, I'm happy with my life, and divorcing you is the best thing that ever happened to me. With that, I kicked them out. But I knew those two wouldn't give up so easily. And sure enough, they didn't. Mike showed up alone one day, saying, "I've got an idea." He barged in with a lawyer in tow. With a lawyer, I can get out of paying them, right? But the lawyer looked shocked. What are you talking about? There's no way to avoid paying it entirely. What the hell? That's crazy. You told me you wanted to countersue for alimony, that's why I came all this way. But it seems the story's changed. No, that's not. Look, I'm a busy man. Call my office and set up a proper appointment. With that, the lawyer left. Mike collapsed on the spot. I know. Why don't we get back together? You're doing all this because you want me back, right? Why are you living in such a fantasy world? I never want anything to do with you again. Besides, you're married to Jennifer now. I'll tell Jennifer I cheated with you, and she can sue for alimony. That's perfect, right? You've gotten older but not any wiser. We're not gonna hook up, and there's no evidence anyway. We could take pictures right now. Too bad. I've been recording this whole conversation. What the? I don't trust someone like you, so I've gotta be prepared. In case you got violent, or tried something funny. I've taken precautions. Sorry, but there's no way you're getting money from me, and there's no way you two are getting out of paying. Can you really sue your ex-husband and sister? You bet I can. Betrayal is betrayal, family or not. Being betrayed by family hurts even more. I'm not backing down on this claim, and even if it gets reduced, I'll keep demanding payment. Give it up. This is the consequence of your actions. You did the crime, now do the time.
At that, Mike crumpled to the floor, sobbing. Cruel as it sounds, all I felt watching those tears was satisfaction. After that, Mike's lawyer filed for a reduction. I was willing to settle if they showed real remorse, so I agreed. Even so, it came out to $40,000, still a hefty sum. Jennifer's lawyer also filed for a reduction, which I accepted at $30,000. But Jennifer wouldn't give up. She came to my house again.
I can't pay $30,000. There's hardly anywhere I can work. How am I supposed to come up with that kind of money? That's not my problem. Enough is enough. If you can't take responsibility, you shouldn't be fooling around. You're 45 years old, how do you not understand this? Maybe you don't get it because you've been relying on dad all this time, but being this clueless at your age just makes you look like a fool. What's your deal? Family's supposed to help each other out. I'm not gonna say it again. You're the one who betrayed family. Take responsibility. Reflect on what you've done. And I've talked to our siblings, they all say don't come crawling to family for help ever again. No way! Stop relying on family and take responsibility for yourself for once.
With that, Jennifer left in tears. Since then, Mike's been working as a traffic cop and Jennifer's been bagging groceries at the supermarket. Neither job pays much, so after the payments, they're left with next to nothing. Looks like they moved in with Mike's folks, but his dad's passed on and his mom needs round-the-clock care. His dad was a big shot at the company, but he had a gambling problem. The life insurance all went to paying off debts, leaving them high and dry. Now they're stuck working and taking care of his mom. If they'd just lived decent lives without all the cheating, none of this would have happened. It's a darn shame, but they brought it on themselves. All this time, they'd been coasting by at companies where their dads and grandpas pulled strings. They could get away with being deadbeats. But throw them into the real world where no one's watching their backs, and they're in way over their heads. That's on them too, hope they learn their lesson. As for me, I used some of that real estate money from dad to start my own business at 68. I know it's pretty late in the game, but dad left us a ton of assets, and I want to do the same for my daughters. So I'm busting my hump investing and growing this company. Who knows how much longer I've gotta leave em as much as I can.